Good morning, and good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Sharon Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. You become better for not only you, but the people you love and care about most. You gotta be a little uncomfortable and take that leap of faith. You're in control of the process. I'm here with you. If we don't continue to grow, if we don't continue to move on, we will be sad and upset. I'm back here in Illinois after a really fun Colorado trip. And wowza, my body is absolutely trashed. But we've had, I think we have a lot of, this works perfectly into this morning's episode because we want to talk about finding people who can push you to your limit. Yesterday, we had a really fun interview with my beloved brother and talking to him about outdoor adventures and then actually doing the outdoor adventures and pushing our bodies to higher thresholds. And it really got me thinking about how I'm able to, in both like academics, professional work, outdoor adventure, growing my relationships, how when I surround myself with people, the right people, I'm able to push myself a lot farther. So we're trying to take this ideology, and this morning, we're going to go over a few examples of why you should surround yourself with people who are better than you at things, or people who just are loving and supporting in this way, who can help push you. And say if they're pushing in a different arena or area, or they've been doing what it is that you want to do for a very long time. So you surround yourself with them and you're able to do it. So we're trying to ask ourselves the question of like, who can push me? Who can push me? And we're going to do two kind of broad categories. So say if we have professionally or personally, like who is maybe a possible mentor? Do you have a mentor? Do you have someone who you're looking for? Someone who can hold you accountable? You can also get a coach. Maybe you could get a coach, or maybe this is just a coworker, friend, a coworker, or like a friend. Hopefully you guys can read that. My chicken scratch isn't too bad this morning. Haven't written on this board in a little bit. So professionally, we're thinking who can push me. Maybe professionally, we're looking for a possible mentor. We're looking for a possible coach. We're looking for coworkers. It'd be surprised, or even like a friend or a family member. Maybe you're thinking personally like family. I was just talking about how family, I was talking about how my brother's been able to push me into the outdoors a lot more, and that's been very, very helpful. So maybe you're even thinking you're opening up. It's incredible to me. We're thinking, Tanner, there's no one who wants to push me or surround me. And it's really easy to feel isolated, especially maybe you're trying to start your own business. I know that was one of the things I discredited, or I didn't really think about in entrepreneurship when I was first getting started was, wow, I actually spend a lot of time alone, and it's actually really hard to self-motivate all the time, it turns out. So talking about personally, I started talking a lot more about my profession with like my family and my friends. And I was very blown away by how many people were like, oh, have you thought about going about this way? Oh, have you thought about this way? Oh, I'm actually starting my own business. And then I started talking to them more often, and then we're bouncing back ideas, or they're just trying to challenge me and push me. So let's go ahead. These are just a few ideas, or maybe we're even thinking about social media. You're looking to possibly join a group. I had this actually go really well once. I'm usually like pretty hesitant on connecting with people socially or on like online versus being able to connect with them in person. But I surprisingly I joined this one real estate group a couple years ago, and then I got invited to chat with a few more people, and then we started going back and forth, and they actually pushed me, and then I was making some offers on some property. Good morning, good morning. Let's win today. And being able to talk to about like, hey, I have this offer for this duplex. What do you guys think about it? And being able to go back and forth, or just these other people who are saying like, wow, I just made another 10 offers on rental properties that I want to buy. And then that gets my wheels going like, oh man, I really want to be able to keep up. Or it's clearly their success is showing, so I need to follow the parameters that they're doing to get their type of results. And I'm not saying you got to live through them or their results, but the point is to be inspired to show that it is possible and to show like what it is you want to go. So maybe you're looking for people who can push you, and you're looking maybe for a social media group or something along those lines. But I just wanted to get some of those ideas up there on the board. Again, we can look for mentors, coaches, coworkers, friends, family members, social media. Who do we need to tell? Who do we need to talk to about who can push us? There's a lot of work that we do in my 6-week course in the relationship section. I'm a big believer you really need to have your relationships anchored down. And a part of this is like looking at the people who are closest to you professionally and closest to you personally. And we need to be able to list these out. We need to list these. What is the reality of who I'm closest with today? And what makes the most sense with who I need to surround myself with to achieve my goals? I think it's very common to understand that we need to surround ourselves by a bunch of achievers, people who produce at a high level in order to do this ourselves. But the actions behind it sometimes can be very daunting because it's like, oh, I'm not sure how I can bring value to the table. I'm not sure what I can do for them. I'm not really even sure what I want. And transparency and honesty usually goes a really long way with this. I think people are looking to mentor other people or to look for these types of groups, but I think everyone's a little hesitant to reach out and ask initially because the verbiage is weird. I don't know what to say. You don't know what to say, but we both want to achieve our goals, and we understand humans are social creatures and that we want to achieve. So maybe the challenge today is for to take some self-control, to take some self-accountability, to take for ourselves the first effort, the first itch of reaching out to somebody who we've been thinking about lately. Maybe you want to talk to one of your friends about investing. Maybe you want to reach out to one of your coworkers about investing. Maybe you want to reach out to somebody online about professional development. Maybe you just need to be more confident on what it is that you do and you want to say. You're like, I'm looking for people who want to go. I'm looking for people who want to push. I'm looking for people who want to get so much more than just sitting around watching TV, eating Cheetos on the couch versus I've always really wanted to hike a 14er out in Colorado, for example. And then so you're looking for people who want to go out and hike, people who want to push themselves physically, people, or maybe you're doing some of my family members, a group of them, my girlfriend, my mom, and my sister, they had ran a 5K race together, and just like some accountability, like, hey, it's starting on this date. We're going to meet up together and we're going to make a fun time of it. It doesn't need to be so serious, but I think it is serious that we surround ourselves with people who can and will push us, because I think people get a whole lot farther together than when they're on their own. This is just from my own personal experience. So again, I really like to ask myself, who am I surrounding myself with? And maybe we could end with just a few stories. So the first story was talking about with Steve and Evan and doing the Skyline Traverse outside of Boulder, Colorado. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys this trail that we did. Good morning. Good morning. Let's win today. So this is the trail that we did. And this is not So we didn't do the full bore of this. We actually did. On my thing, it said it was a little under 17 miles because we only did it one way. This is out and back. Okay, so yeah, you go way farther than what I would have ever imagined, but this this trail was really really cool. I absolutely loved it. And I don't think I could have possibly done it without having people who have done it before, people who are really willing to push themselves, and that's kind of my point. So there was a lot of points where you come to the point you want to quit and you don't want to keep going, but the camaraderie and the support of having other people around you, I think, can really help people push you to the next level, to a level where you didn't think it was possible. I think humans are a lot more capable than we give ourselves credit to, and sometimes, and it's this pain and pleasure thing. It's so wild how it's on the seesaw where when you have a lot of delayed gratification and you're feeling a lot of a physical pain, for example, in exercise, the amount of pleasure that you can receive on the back end is immense. When I was riding home in the car and my legs were just not working, and I'm just laying there kind of seeing the sun start to set, it's really beautiful out. I feel like I'm so much more present because I have this mix of happiness and exhaustion and fulfillment. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, totally did this, rocked this out. We ran a chunk of this trail. And yeah, it was definitely one of the harder things I've done in a while, but it was really, really worth it. It was really, really fun. And I highly, highly recommend people being able to surround themselves and pushing themselves physically. So the other story would be I was in my last semester of college and I was in this tech class where we were writing code and we were trying to like build out this application for the software that did like math. I am not a very tech person. I love having good tech. Like I'm really into Apple products. I like computers in general. I like to keep up with a lot of those things, very broad, outside. I'm not in the depths of it. Let's just say this class was very, very difficult for me. Very, very difficult. I was terrible at the subject. I had a I had a C go like halfway through the class, and I had never gotten a C in college. So I was starting to feel a lot of pressure, and my grades and a lot of my scholarships depended on not having any C's. So I was starting to get a really, I'm sure you've been in this position before. You have a deadline, you're really stressed, a lot's going on. And then I finally asked three people in my class, shout out to Chris, John, and Tim. And I was like, hey, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm stressed out. I'm behind on these assignments. And then two of the guys were like, I kind of get it. And then one of the other guys, shout out to Chris, he was really getting it. He's like, okay, let's meet up once a week for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we'll start there and see if we can be really helpful. We met up for the first time. I got way more done in that 2 hours than I did the previous 20 hours just sitting at home by myself, just grinding, stewing, rereading the chapters, looking up YouTube videos, and I just couldn't figure this stuff out. And then I got so much farther with these people, and they were pushing me. And then it turns out we had a lot to get done, a lot to do, and a lot to get done. So we're really pushing each other. We're trying to do the most that we can. And then I was just able to get so much more done in a group setting. So I always like sharing that story. I ended up getting a B in that class, not an A, but it was better than a C. I thought the final project and the final were going to absolutely, totally dismantle my grade, but thankfully with the right support and the right help, but I had to be in a position to be vulnerable enough to ask for help, right? I think it can be very easy to not want to ask for help. So this morning, let's ask ourselves, who can push me? What areas do I want to be pushed in? Maybe it's physical activity. Maybe you just need support. You need a coach to help you push you to help figure out more things of what you actually want out of your life. or maybe in a professional setting, you need to surround yourself with people who are going to help you push and reach out to more people, do the necessary things that are going to allow you to grow and develop your business. Thanks for checking out our content. If you want to learn more about investing in yourselves and working with me and our company personally, we offer a 6-week Total Life Mastery Bootcamp where we go over the most important topics to make sure that our life has the foundation we need to catapult us forward to take the right and proper actions to become happier and more productive, guaranteed, or our money back.